Today I'm going to talk about a pen by this brand, Cross. I was contacted by Cross and they said, well, we've seen your videos, would you be interested in doing a review of one of our pens? And I said, well, of course, I've reviewed two, but sure. And they said, what did you have in mind? And I said, well, I get a lot of review requests for the Townsend. And they said, okay, then we'll send you a Townsend. So they sent me this pen, which is very nice. Thank you. And I'm going to review it today. Now, I want you to understand that even though I got this pen for free, I'm going to give this the exact same treatment I give any other pen. So don't think I'm going to be more favorable just because I got it. Okay? Right. I mean, I'm not selling anything. I'm independent. Cross came in this box. Nice box. I like this very utilitarian thing with the cutout and then a little barcode. That's just very. I can imagine that's very useful for stores or something. Here it says Cross. You open up the cardboard box, the outer sleeve, and then you get this box, which is very nice. It feels very smooth, a bit. I don't know what this texture. It's not like leather. It's not really rubbery. It's a very interesting smooth texture. Okay, you open up the box. And then in there is this pen in a sort of protector bubble plastic thing, which you may not be able to see, but that's alright. I'll take that off. Here we have the pen. Then we have a little sheet. It's filling instructions and stuff. And then we have the box. You can take out this sort of lid thing. And then you have two of these cartridges. Now, if you've never seen a Cross cartridge, then you're in for a treat, because these are the oddest looking cartridges I've seen, and they work really well because they have that somewhat oddly tapered layout. There's all those ridges. They're in your pen very securely, and I really like that. It's sometimes with standard international cartridges you can easily knock them out by accident. With this ones that won't happen, which is nice. Okay, we need to talk about the pen. There are two versions. I got the black version, which has a lot of rhodium highlights. I'm going to show you the parts of the pen, tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and I'll do a writing sample. That's all let's do. Okay, starting on top of the pen, the top of the cap, there is a sort of eye thing going on. I think it's pretty fascinating. Can you see that? It's sort of this rhodium thing, and then you got the black little hole in there. I like that. Then we have the clip. The clip says Cross. See that? Cross. The clip is pretty tight, but it is not so tight that it's not useful. So this is what I sort of like. It's tight. It will keep your pen in place, but you can easily operate that even with one finger. Alright, then on the back of the cap, I'm not sure how well you can see that in the light. Well, there you go. It says Cross. Then you have these two rings, the center band. Maybe I should say center bands then. Also rhodium. Then we have a long barrel and some more rhodium and a little lip. And it's very reflective, as you can see. Very nice and shiny. Alright. The cap slips off with a very interesting mechanism. It's on there very securely. So when I put it already at this point, I start to feel resistance, and then you have to push it all the way on there, and then it snaps shut securely. It feels like a very secure cap mechanism. It's not going to fall off. You can really exert some pressure before you actually take the cap off, which I like. Then we have a very nice 18 karat duotone nib, which I think is a very nice design. I'm not sure how well you can see that. I'll try to make it a bit less reflective. I got a medium nib. It says Cross. There was something else on there, wasn't it? I need to get a loop. Let me see. Time to get loopy. Yes, it says 750 for 18 karat. It has some letters on there. AC. Isn't that AC cross? AT cross. Isn't it AT cross? I'm sorry, I forgot. I didn't do my homework, but it's on there. It says 18K, and I just love the nib. I think it's a really nice design. and it's a very pleasant, smooth nib to use. Alright, the section, as you can see, is tapered, and then it flares out, and again some rhodium highlights. Has the cap lip on there to keep the cap in place. As I said, it's very secure. The cap also clicks onto the back of the barrel for posting, making for a top-heavy but big pen. It's not small. Now, something I noticed, I mean, this is not a small pen. Something I noticed is that the barrel is quite long. It's a bit longer than I would have expected. I love that. It makes for a nicely balanced, fairly large pen that I find very pleasant and comfortable to use. Open up the barrel, you get this little cartridge in there. As you can see, I mean, this is very secure. I mean, you cannot just accidentally knock that out. And as you can see, it goes in there quite far. See? I had one of these cartridges lying around, I put that in there. If you want to use a converter, that's possible. There are, as far as I know, two types of cross converters. That is, I have two. There's the orange ones and the green ones. This is a green one, and this will fit in this pen. The orange one has threads, so it screws in. It doesn't fit in this pen. At least I couldn't fit it. This converter, that same tapered 3 times design. Again, very secure. I like that. Alright, so that's all about the pen. What do I like about it? What do I not like about it? Well, I've already talked about the size. Metal barrel, metal cap, making for a very nice weight. It's a serious pen. It's not super heavy. Posted, it's a little top heavy. But you know, that's, I guess, if you have a long metal barrel and you have a metal cap, that's certain to happen. I like that. The nib is very pleasant to use. To my tastes, it's a bit on the dry side. Then again, I've been using broad nibs almost exclusively lately, and you know, they lay down a lot of ink. But I think it is a bit dry. For me, it could have been a bit wetter, but you can work on that yourself. It's not that difficult. It is very smooth in a very pleasant way. I've been writing with it a lot lately, and I find it a very pleasant nib. If you use this on moleskin paper, moleskine, for example, really nice, really pleasant, glides across the paper. Even though I'm not a huge moleskin fan, really nice. So on many papers, I mean, I've used it on Clairefontaine, I've used it on other papers, works very well. So I like it. I like the size. I like the feel of the pen. As far as I'm concerned, this is a really nice pen. Right, final thing I want to do, just some measurements to give you a bit of an idea. I am getting more fluent and smooth with my calipers, but it's still not. Lack of motor skills, my fault. Alright, so lengthwise, with the cap in place, I come to just about 15 centimeters, so that's not a small pen. Uncapped, I mean, give or take a few millimeters, but I come to about 132. That is uncapped, right? Okay, then I want to have a look at the section diameter, which I get a lot of questions about in pens. At the narrowest bit, I would say it's about 9 millimeters, and at the widest bit near the barrel, it's about 11 millimeters. And that is all there's to it. So what I'm going to do next is writing sample. I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye bye. Oh, and thank you, Cross. I really appreciate the pen. Okay, time for the Cross Townsend. Now that I've got it here, I can show you the size. Whoops! I can show you the size of the pen, which is not exactly small. Here we have a Montblanc 149, and as you can see, lengthwise, the Townsend is actually bigger. It's a bit skinnier, but it's, you know. Here we've got a Visconti Opera Crystal. That's about the same size. We got a Mont Blanc 146, which is quite a bit smaller. And what else have I got here? I got a Delta Dolce Vita oversize, which is also quite a bit smaller. It's, of course, the Townsend may be a bit skinnier, but as to length, it's quite a big pen. I was surprised by that. Alright, let us do some writing. I uncap the pen and I post it. You know what? Let's not post it. Let's just use it as it is. What we have is here is the Cross Townsend. The nib is 18 karat gold, which is rhodium plated. And then we have the ink, which is Ackerman Mauritshuis Magenta. Only available in the Netherlands. That sounded nationalistic. Wasn't intended as such. Okay, let's do some writing. Writing is smooth. I feel a bit of feedback, but this is not scratchiness. This really means that I can feel the nib moving across the paper. This is smooth paper, this is rhodia paper. I can feel the nib moving, but not in a scratchy manner, not in an unpleasant manner. In fact, I think a lot of people actually like this type of feedback because it allows them to feel that they're writing. Some pens are really ultra smooth and then they just glide across the paper like you know, you're some type of ice skater just gliding across the ice. So this, I don't mind this. I think this is a pleasant bit of feedback too. Okay, maybe we should do a bit of fast writing to see how well the feed keeps up with the nib. The ink supply, I should say. You see it right straight away, no startup issues. Let's do some fast writing. Okay, so what I notice here is that something that was already sort of suggested by this is that there are some minor skips. You see that right there? You see it a bit there. This is not an excessively wet nib. It may be a bit on the dry side. Let's test that while we're at it. I'm creating just a patch of ink. As you can see, it's a nice even patch. That's a good sign. Little white dashes in there, so that's a good thing. Okay, I stop and then I try to wipe that out, and you see it's almost completely dry. I want to give you a bit of a comparison there. What I have here is a very wet, no, you know what, let me use this. What I have here is a very wet pen, and the reason I picked this is that it also has an Ackerman ink in there, the same brand except it's a different color. Excessively wet pen, except it doesn't write. Alright, now we'll go for another. I mean, I always have a backup plan. This also is an Ackerman ink. This is a Visconti pen. Now this pen is very wet. It has a broad nib, and the Townsend has a medium nib. I haven't said that yet, but see, that is wetness. This is very, very wet. The Townsend is a bit drier. That's not necessarily an issue. First of all, it could be an issue with the ink, so I could try a wetter ink, but I know this ink, and I know that this is not the driest ink in the world. So I'm assuming that this is just a somewhat drier nib, and there's nothing wrong with that. Let me just add that here. So this is medium. There we go. That's a very ugly M, but you'll see. You'll bear with me. Okay. What about line variation? We're talking about an 18 karat gold nib, which means that there is quite some gold content in here, which may suggest that this is a somewhat flexible nib. It's not a flex nib, it's not marketed as such, and some gold nibs I have are really as rigid as nails. So let's see what we can do with this. This is no pressure. Now I start to add more pressure. Always be very careful when you do this. You don't want to spring a nib, so get the tines out of their proper alignment by exerting too much pressure. I think this is fairly impressive, actually. That's some pretty nice variation. Let's do a bit of writing with that. Trying to capitalize on the line variation. Right, I think that's quite nice. It responds well, performs well. I have to say I like this pen. So there you have it, the Cross Townsend. A fun pen to play with and to fiddle around with. I like how it performs, and that's all there is to it. So I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.